Hello, welcome to Geeking Out with Shad. Yep, new car day. So, yes, I traded in my 2022 Bolt EUV Premier Launch Edition for this car. This is a Hyundai Ioniq 5 dual motor, so it's got all-wheel drive, the larger battery, so it gets like 260 miles of range. It's got that 350 kilowatt charging capability, so way more charging speed than the Bolt. The Bolt was actually pretty slow at like 55 or something like that. And it's just an overall nicer car. So I made that change. The biggest thing is I want to go down to one vehicle. If you've been following my channel, you know I also have a Tacoma. This car is more capable. It has a heat pump, so it'll handle the colder temperatures better, not get such a range hit, because the Bolt got really bad range. And it's got, you know, battery preconditioning, all-wheel drive, all that stuff, right? So I'm going to try going all in on EVs. So that's my reason why I got this car. And there's some other reasons, the camera issue, the fact Chevrolet couldn't fix it or whatever, but I don't want to dive into that. I have that all on my channel if you want to look up that information. But let's talk about this car. As you notice in the intro, when I walked up to the car, it automatically unlocked and popped the door handles out, which honestly, you know, I'm older, I'm 56, and these little bells and whistles are neat and all that, but it's like, I actually don't mind, you know, pushing a button on a key fob. And I mean, there used to be a day and age when you actually had a physical key and you had to stick it in the door and turn it, right? Now the car just does this automatic stuff. So cool and all, but is it necessary? I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'm wondering, like, and this will be good for this car because I'll be testing it long term over a harsh Minnesota winter here in Minneapolis. And will it ice over? Will those door handles work in extreme cold and when it's icy out, stuff like that? Well, we'll find out. Let's take a look at this car a little bit. I'm going to power it on here. Makes, you know, the noises and stuff. It's kind of cool. I have to get used to the new you know, screens and stuff, because I was used to how the Bolt does. Here's another thing. They literally have my name right there, and I've hit this confirm every single time, and I don't know why they have to pop the message up every single time. They really only need to do it once. Once I've hit confirm, I now know. But they do it every time, but at least it goes away by itself eventually. So these screens are pretty cool. I like this. This is, they have this lane keeping assist. It actually has an automatic drive mode, so not Super Cruise, but very much like Super Cruise. It will do that. And, you know, your speed is over here, which is kind of awkward. I feel like, you know, it's off to the side. I'll get used to it, right? And so on and so forth. It even tells you that there's 3 seats without seat belts. I guess I find that one kind of odd. Now it just changed. So a lot to learn here. I do like this because this is the thing where if I let off the gas, it'll show me that it's charging. If I did I say gas? I said gas. Huh. I said gas. I let off the accelerator, it'll regen, and then when I'm using power, it'll show. So it's pretty cool. And then over here, another one of these things is, I don't know if I just touch the screen. Oh, here we go. Now I'm figuring it out as we go. So this is one of those weird things, and I always think about this with like iPhones and stuff. There's a lot of like hidden functionality. You just have to know how to work it. Like when those dots go away, you're looking at the screen and you're like, well, what do I do? Well, what happened is as soon as I touched it, I saw those dots and I realized I could scroll. All kinds of stuff here. I'm not going to get super big into it. Yes, it has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You do have to plug it in, and what's actually interesting about that is I've actually happy that you plug it in. So the wireless charger is here, and on my Bolt, and also on the Volkswagen ID4, which we still have, when I use the wireless charger and I'm using Android Auto, my phone gets really hot, for one, and two, my phone isn't able to charge enough it actually still drains the battery on the phone. It probably takes longer to drain it because it's getting some charge from here, but how this works is you plug it in and then you get Android Auto, which I'm not going to do now because I'm making a video with my phone, but then I can stick the phone there, and that leaves the wireless charger available for somebody else, and the phone and cable and everything is way out of the way over there, so I don't have this cable flopping around. I know in my Tacoma I have to plug in and the cable's flopping around in this area, and that one actually has a manual shift, so the cable is in the way of the shifter, so that's kind of annoying. So I like it that this is compact, out of the way. I like it that I have to plug my phone in, believe it or not, because my phone doesn't get too hot, it is out of the way, and it leaves the wireless charger available for somebody else, and so on and so forth. So on to the controls here. I like it that this has like some, like what I would call hot buttons. So if you want to do climate, you can just hit the climate and things like that, and then that stuff shows up here. So you basically hit the button, then it comes up here, and then you can make your selections. One thing I did like about the Bolt was you had a lot more controls with those toggle switches down here. This isn't terrible, but it's a little bit less, so I still have to do stuff here and then go there. But I can just hit auto, and I can set the temperature all right here pretty quickly, so it's not bad. I do like it that they have these buttons, and I do want that off. So now here I'm in this thing where, okay, that's fan off, so I have to hit off up here, huh? Maybe. Okay, anyway, so, you know, cool. And then you have nav. So I don't know the difference between map and nav. Haven't figured that out. That's kind of odd. And then media is radio. I'm assuming that's your favorite button, to get up your favorites. Here's your tuning toggle thing. And that's interesting. Is that the backup? Oh yeah, look at that. So you can just go and get the camera right away. That's cool. And so on and so forth. So it does have controls, and the best one is the fact that it has an actual volume knob. Like, having to do a volume on a screen is like a nightmare, so I like that. So this is all pretty cool. Steering wheel, I'll get into this stuff, but this is where you get the cruise control. You got adaptive cruise, you've got your automatic lane stuff here, and it will do self-driving. And then over here, this is all like radio controls, phone controls, things like that. You'll notice that it has what appear to be shift paddles. I'll talk about these when I'm driving the car, but they change the regen level. And then over here, you just have your light functions. It looks like parking brake, stuff like that. And then your typical door, window controllers, your child locks, mirror controls, things like that. So nothing's super out of the ordinary. And you know, it's kind of cool to have these screens, and now that I know I can just swipe it, that's cool, right? And I kind of like this screen because it's kind of this general information screen, and what's cool is it has this little map over there. And that's not even Android Auto, that's like built into the car. So this car does come with navigation, and there's no charge to have it, which is also interesting. The thing that I know though is that map it's not as good as Android Auto. Like, I have all of my places saved in Android Auto. I've been using it for years. I'm a dedicated Android user, so I just use Google Maps and it works. So yeah, it's interesting that they do offer navigation in the car, but I just probably will rarely use it. So over here is all your range, and then it tells me, you know, this is my efficiency right now, 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. All of that information is there. That's super cool. And then you can toggle these screens. I believe it's this button. Nope. Then again, I don't know how to do that. Maybe it's this one. Nope. So I have to figure out how I go between the different options there. Oh, maybe it's this. There it is. It's this one right here. I swear the dealer showed me, but I can get into most of these controls and see the different screens, right? But, you know, this is the one I'll probably always be on. So that's super cool. One of the kind of wild things about this car, maybe I'll have to do a night video, and I'm going to keep this car long term, so I'll be doing multiple videos on it. So you want to hit the subscribe button and follow me, and you'll get more information about this car as I drive it and gain more experience with it. But it has this ambient light thing, and you probably can't see it, maybe a little bit. Yeah, see, it's kind of a purplish color. You can literally go in here and set these lights to whatever color you want. Not only do they have a whole bunch of pre-selected colors, but they have that color wheel, and you can literally set it to what you want. So they're back there, they're there. Oh, you can see it a little better there. And they don't actually flicker like that into my human eyes. It just does that because of the frame rate of the video. So pretty cool. Plenty of space in the back. If you know me, you know I ride bicycles, so I'll be able to fold those seats down, put bikes in the back, so on and so forth. Let's take a quick look at the outside of the car, and then we'll drive it. So this is what it looks like from the outside. I got white. I've never owned a white car before. I've never really liked white, but for some reason I decided to give it a shot because I feel like in the summertime, all the cars that I've had that have dark interiors, dark paint, whatever, gets super hot inside. And I figure it's easier to heat a car in the wintertime than it is to try to cool a car in the summertime. So hopefully white works out for me. The wheels look pretty cool. I know I've heard this car referred to a lot as like digital kind of theme, and I think that has a lot to do with the headlights. These kind of square, blocky headlights. You can hardly see them because this is kind of a dark kind of tinting on there, so on and so forth. And then we'll go in the back. Open this up. Again, the key fob has a way to open it. Now, plenty of space back here. Typical charger and all that stuff is under there. Seats fold down. Gives this car plenty of room, like more room than the Bolt. I'm not sure if I'll be able to put my bikes in here, especially my mountain bikes, without taking the front wheel off, because I generally have to take the front wheel off. I'm gonna guess I'm gonna still have to do that to put my bike in here. And my BMX bike will easily fit, but it easily fit in the Bolt too. Yeah, I still ride BMX bikes, believe it or not. So there you go, more of that kind of digital theme going on here. So it's another one of those cars where you're either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it, right? Some people, they give you the little puke symbol when they see this car, and other people are like, I love it. You know, it's one of those, and I kind of like that. I like cars that challenge people a little bit and not just be super plain and boring. This is definitely not plain and boring, but it's definitely a car that some people may not like. So yeah, there you have it. Let's go drive it. Okay, let's start it up. Thanks for the message. All right, what's interesting about this car is the shifter is completely different. It's kind of similar to the ID4. The ID4 controller is up here, and this one's down here, and you basically just twist it towards you, and it goes into reverse, if you can see that. And then you have neutral, drive, and then park is the button on the end, right? So it becomes more natural the more you use it, but it's just, you know, when you're used to cars that have shifters and controls over here or whatever, it takes a little getting used to. I'm actually going to turn the air on because I want to keep the windows. Oh, I can't do that while I'm in. See, this is all the stuff you learn when you have a new car. So I want to turn the climate on and have the car cooling because I don't want to open the windows. It's kind of nice out today, so I generally wouldn't run air, but we'll do it this time. Now I want to go back to the home screen. See, eventually figure this thing out, right? All right, now let's go into reverse. Backup camera. I like all these warning things over here, so if I'm gonna back into something, it'll warn me. It actually warns me when I'm pulling up to the curb, so you don't scrape your bumper and stuff on things, which is nice because that's one of those common things you see is people pull forward and their bumper goes up on the curb. With this, it'll let me know when I'm up near the curb, so then I don't have to do that. So that's kind of cool. So we'll go ahead and back out of here. Hey, look, the backup camera works. And we'll dig at GM there. All right, so right now the car is in level 3 regen. What that is it actually drives a bit like a regular car. You let off the accelerator, let's not say gas this time, and it slows down, but it doesn't come to a complete stop. So that's level 3, and it's got 1 through 3 regen levels over here. And these paddle shifters, this was what I was going to talk about. You literally just push them, and they'll go to lower level or higher level regen. And once this truck goes through, I'll show you what's really cool here. So we'll go ahead and go. And now I'm going to put it all the way over to what's called I-pedal. Now, I-pedal is one pedal driving, and I personally love one pedal driving. I know a lot of people that hate it, but what's cool is here I'm coming up to this stop sign. I let off the accelerator, and the car slows down, and I can like modulate it and slow the car to a complete stop. So I didn't use the brake there at all. So you can see over here on the right that it's using power, but then when I let off the accelerator, you see how it drops way down and the car slows down. That's why I like to do I-pedal, is you get a lot more regen and quite a bit more range. If you're driving in a city like this, you will get quite a bit more range using one pedal driving in any EV. So that's why I like it, and I just like the fact that with one pedal I can come to a complete stop. I just, you know, and you can modulate it. It's not like if you want it to aggressively stop, you just let off all the way and it'll aggressively slow down. And one of the questions people ask is, what about brake lights? Well, the car's smart. It does turn the brake lights on when you let off the accelerator, and yeah, always check this corner. Lots of pedestrians around here. So when you let off the accelerator, the brake lights will come on. And I don't know how it particularly works. Like, it only comes on at the see, people don't watch for pedestrians. That car just literally turned into the drive where that girl was walking. So this is always funny when I'm driving around doing videos. I make comments about how people drive, because we live in a world of like impatient people, people that are just flat out jerks, people that are just terrible drivers. And every time I see them, I make a comment about them. So yeah, let's go get on the highway and talk about that. Okay, so before we get on the highway, I want to talk about this little button right here, drive mode. Watch the dashboard. It's in normal now, and then it just went into sport. Sport mode's kind of ridiculous, and we'll see that in a second here because I'll use it to get on the highway. But suddenly when I'm in sport mode, I like how everything turns red, so it's very obvious. You'll see that the range dropped down because you're going to get less range when you're driving more aggressively. Yeah, the whole dashboard changes. We're going to get on the highway here in a second, and this car, like, even when I'm in eco, it drives really well. Like, it's not slow in eco, it's like pretty quick. And then normal mode, it's even faster. And then I don't know what they do in sport mode. I don't know if it handles any different. I can't tell at this speed. Well, now we run into this problem, this huge truck that's gonna go really slow. This is like, welcome to city driving, right? Well, we'll see if I get an opportunity to actually, like, we'll slow down and then we'll see how quickly this goes up to speed. Watch. Oh, that is just insane. That is so insane, getting pushed. I just got pushed back in the seat. According to Car and Driver, they did 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds with this car. So that's pretty wild. I mean, that's fast, like, kind of in that, like, if we think about muscle cars, you know, they're probably in the around the 4-second range, 4 something seconds, unless you get something really nutty, like obviously like a Hellcat or something. But like a normal Mustang or Camaro, that's about where this lies as far as 0 to 60 time goes. But obviously if you get the, like, more beefed up versions of those cars, they're a lot quicker. So there, that was highway. Pretty crazy. And even though I'm going like 60 miles per hour, this thing has plenty of acceleration. We'll go around this Hyundai in front of me. It's, yeah, I'm already almost up to 90 miles per hour, which is quite illegal in that short distance. Like, that was insane. So yeah, let's take it out of sport mode because that's kind of silly, especially in the city. And talk about the feel. The highway feel is really nice. It's comfortable, steers, you know, pretty tight. When I want to change lanes, it's nice and smooth. It's really cool. I'll do a separate video on some of the auto driving features and stuff. I don't want to do that in this video because it'll just make this video like seriously long, because it's already long, right? So we'll talk about that in a separate video. So this car is like super smooth. That's like, but what's interesting is I haven't driven an EV that isn't smooth. I've actually driven one of those. We see a Tesla Model Y over there. Awesome car. Like, they drive so well. And this is pretty comparable to how that feels, and especially even with acceleration and stuff. I think the Model Y might be a small amount quicker, but not that much. And let's see if I get an opportunity here to get on the entrance ramp without interference of a vehicle in front of me, and we can do that again. Chances of that actually happening is pretty rare. Lots of Teslas. I just saw another one. It's another thing that's really interesting is, why aren't these people going? They have a green light. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is a short entrance ramp. This is a perfect example of why this is so nice. Like, I'm already doing 75 and I'm not even halfway down the entrance ramp. So for California drivers, that's like super handy, because when I've driven in California, I've needed to get up to speed very quickly just to get into the far right lane, because people drive ridiculously fast on the highway in California. So yeah, super impressive. So one thing you'll notice is the mirrors will have a little light, indicator light, if there's a car in my blind spot. But look at the dashboard. We have this van coming up and it shows me there's something in my blind spot. I will really like it if a motorcycle makes that go off, because motorcycles are harder to see, especially motorcyclists that hang out in your blind spot. I've had that happen a few times. Like, why are you hanging out in my blind spot? Anyway, so there's another Tesla 2 cars behind us. I'm like, there's so many Teslas, it's pretty crazy. So there you have it, the new car, something new I can test in different conditions, things like that. So expect all the typical range stuff, like what I did with the Bolt EUV. My property is 129 miles away. I just ordered a level 2 charger for it. That's a plug-in. So I have a NEMA 1450 outlet at my property. The Bolt EUV actually came, it was a cool feature. It came with a charger that you could plug in the 2 different plugs, and you could do level 1 or level 2 with it, and that came with the car. That was super cool. This car, like most EVs, only comes with a level 1 charger, and honestly, for a pure EV, a level 1 charger isn't going to cut it. If you have like a plug-in hybrid or something like that, a level 1 charger is fine, but for an EV, it's just not going to cut it. There's no way you'll ever get these much larger batteries charged with that low of a charge rate. So I ordered a charger that I can take with me when I go up to my property and charge up there. Not sure with this car if I could make it up there and make it all the way back, but I usually go up there to go mountain biking. So I go up there, and then sometimes I'll drive around a little bit to go to the trailheads. I stay a few days, so I drive to go get coffee, things like that. So pretty sure that my trip up there, the driving around I do and trip back, I wouldn't be able to make the full trip, but I don't know yet. It's just a guess, but I want to have the level 2 charger with me just in case. So a lot more on this car. It is midsummer, it is July, so when we get into the fall and when we get into winter, we'll talk about range and all of that stuff. And keep in mind, I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It gets below 0 Fahrenheit here. It's brutal, and it's a true test of what an EV can handle. And then other things, like with the Bolt, how reliable is this car? And if it does have issues, how quickly and easily does it do those issues get resolved, right? We want to all know that stuff. It's really important if you're going to buy a car, especially an EV, and you're going to dive in and embrace this new technology, that you know what you're getting into. And that's why I do these videos. So now we've got the Ioniq 5 all-wheel drive. As you've seen, it's kind of ridiculously fast, like to a point of being too fast. Like, you don't need that kind of power. The Bolt EUV was plenty fast, and according to Car and Driver, I always go by Car and Driver because they do a lot of testing. They did 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds, I think, with that car. This one's 4.5. That's like more than 2 seconds faster. Pretty ridiculous. I used to own a Camaro, 2012 Camaro. This is equally as fast as that car was. So yeah, pretty crazy. So there you have it. If you want more content, you want to see more videos on this car and some of my other geeking out with Shad content, please hit the subscribe button. Peace.